We're now changing gears to another award, the Armbrecht Award. And the Armbrecht Award is given annually by DFSME in memory of Ross Armbrecht, who was a PhD DuPont research chemist and former DFSME executive director before me. The award acknowledges a Delaware educator who has demonstrated outstanding lifelong commitment and collaboration between businesses, educators, and community leaders to improve math, science, and education for all. The award recognizes advocacy for education. So you don't necessarily have to be a teacher, as I am not a teacher running the Delaware Foundation for Science and Math Education points out. This year, the DFSME Delaware Foundation for Science and Math Education is proud to present the award to Jack Cairns. Some of you here are too young to know who Jack Cairns is, but he is actually a real base of almost 50 years of reform in science and math education. So we already have presented his award to him at a lunch 3 weeks ago with friends down in Lewis, but we have a video here reminding us all, and Jack and Vicki are watching the video, so please.
Jack Cairns was born in 1938 in North Charleroi, Pennsylvania. He had an active childhood.
Well, when my mother and dad got married, the two families merged, and they were both very large families. And about every 6 weeks, they had a family reunion in which everybody came. So I got to know both my aunts and uncles and cousins very, very well.
Jack, many of us say our love for science started out from exploring the woods as a child, or from a special teacher who made science interesting, or we grew up on a farm. What sparked your interest as a young boy to become a science educator?
This large family I was talking about, on my dad's side of the family, there were many, many teachers. And so I got to the place where I really enjoyed listening to the teachers and hearing the stories about how they taught and so forth. And that was my primary reason for becoming a teacher.
Jack became a chemistry, physics, math teacher in Dover, Delaware. You were appointed to a steering committee to organize the first Olympiad in Delaware, which took place at Delaware State College in the spring of 1977. Where did the concept for the Delaware Olympiad come from?
Going back to my experience, I had all these teachers in my dad's side of the family, and they were always inventing games. At these reunions, they were always inventing games for the kids to play and have a good time, but at the same time they were learning things, very important things. And so I decided to begin to do this with my students as I was teaching them. We were playing all kinds of games. And then I decided, well, I'll just try to do this I had a good friend from college who was trying to do the same thing up in Pennsylvania. He was teaching in Pennsylvania. And so we got together for a day or so, and we talked about things, and I decided to try to do this in Delaware.
And how did this eventually become the Michigan Olympiad?
I had written a couple of articles in Science and had them published in Science magazines, and I was looking for an opportunity to try to take it to a larger level. And as you say, I was invited to go to Michigan and give them some background, and they tried it, and they really liked it. And so I began doing an awful lot of speaking, public speaking, at science conferences all over the United States. And this person in Michigan turned out to be a good friend, and he had an opportunity to get involved heavily. I couldn't get involved heavily on the national level because I had such an important job on the state level. So he took over and started the whole thing on the national level. He was a much better administrator than I was.
You used to do workshops all over the country for Science Olympiad to bring teachers together, and exchange ideas and give positive reinforcement.
Well, that's true. One of the important things that happened as the Olympiad began to expand into other communities, other states, was that we had the opportunity to help teachers see things from a little bit different point of view, and were able to spend a little more time working with all members of their community. And I think it made a difference.
So even as the Science Olympiad grew to a national endeavor, you stayed involved.
For the whole time until I actually gave it up in the teens of this 2016, 17. I retired.
Jack is still an Emeritus National Executive Board member of Science Olympiad Incorporated. Jack, you were instrumental in connecting the science community throughout the state of Delaware and keeping it connected. Describe to us how you came to the realization that dedicated time must be spent on developing these connections while providing space for congeniality and fun.
Big question. The good news is I had lots of friends who also had friends and were connected to large companies like DuPont and others who became interested in what I was trying to do and saw the benefit in that. And so they were helping me with a lot of my ideas, even so far as to give me a little bit of money to go to the Verdon Center, the University of Delaware campus down here in Sussex County, and run some workshops that would help teachers begin to do things a little bit differently and better.
One last question. Is there something we missed or a topic that you want to talk about?
Science Olympiad was an incredible experience for me. And as I said, I have to give credit to a lot of those teachers that were in my dad's family who were creating all kinds of interesting things for us to do at these reunions when I was growing up. And I just adopted some of those things and began using them not as a family reunion, but as a reunion with teachers, science teachers in Delaware.
On October 23, 2024, Mr. Jack Cairns was awarded the Armbrecht Award by the Delaware Foundation for Science and Mathematics Education. The award acknowledges a Delaware educator who has demonstrated outstanding commitment in collaboration between business, educators, and community leaders to improve math and science education for all students in Delaware.
We know Jack is listening in, and Vicki, so Jack, you have done a fantastic job, not only with Science Olympiad, but you built the foundation of networks of science teachers across the state 30 years ago, which set the stage for many other things. Let's give Jack a round of applause.